Hey, everybody. I am glad you're here, glad you're watching, glad for those who are live, and those of you, most of you, who will be watching this later. So, I'm not sure what attracted you to this. I have been busy, and judging from the notes that I've been getting from you all, as well as other people in my life, you've been busy. There's a lot of talk of different layers of fatigue and overwhelm, and just feeling like there's a lot to do, and not a whole lot of resources to make that happen. So I'm offering this as a process that may be able to help. And the good news is it's not just for tiredness. Energy, in the context of the practice that I'm going to give, is not a quantitative thing. It's a qualitative thing. So instead of tired or fatigued being a lack of energy, it's actually an abundance of tired energy or an abundance of fatigue. You have an abundance of a certain kind of excitable energy, a certain kind of anxious energy. It's not really a amount of. It's clarifying which. So that's our starting place. Is that this is a highly practical exercise that is a part of a much more extensive protocol called intuitive storytelling. The kids' courses and the trainings and most of the workshops that have been offered have all been under the heading of restorative storytelling. Restorative storytelling, in short, is using storytelling, particular storytelling skills and practices with the intention of creating connection and building community. So it's a social art. Restorative storytelling is very much a social art. Intuitive storytelling, certainly can eventually aim in that direction, but it's much more of a personal kind of storytelling between you and whatever you want to consider something bigger than you. So the vastness of information that's available in the world. The internet would be a very digital way of seeing that. You could consider the depths of your subconscious mind to be this wealth of information. You could consider it a universal collection of wisdom. You could consider it the mind of God. You can consider it the Akashic record. It can get further and further out in terms of whatever your perception of something bigger than you is. But the point is, we tend to use our conscious mind when we are trying to change things, solve things, learn, transform our experience as human beings. And that is measurably a very narrow amount of information that you're working with. In the restorative storytelling world, I bandy about this data point that in every second we are bombarded with 11 million bits of information, but only 30 or 40 of them are conscious. The rest of them are subconscious. So if you keep adding all that up, your subconscious is a massive barge of information that you can, information, feeling, somatic experience, all of that stuff that can inform what you do next, your next right thing. However, most of us these days tend to actually narrow it right down to what's happening in our conscious mind, how it's a linear form of thinking. It is a consequential form of thinking, and it's very useful. I'm not putting it down, but it's just not very much. So intuitive storytelling, the point of intuitive storytelling is to use the storytelling practice to access all the things and then have a better informed way of responding or doing the next thing. So our goal for this one has to do with energy and has to do with I'm going to say the fact that there are times when each one of us feel a certain way and we want to change that. I would go so far to say as most of our reasons for wanting our circumstances, our personalities, our occupation, our relationships to change is because what we actually want to change is the way we feel. There's real world consequences in the world. There's stuff going on. People are being hurt. Sometimes it's you, and those need to be dealt with. This practice is oriented towards how you feel while you do those things. So I'm going to lead you through a practice. Let me give some context in a visual form. I just kind of described the context, but let me show you a visual on what it is that we're doing here. So this is, well, actually, let me back up and go to the fourfold storytelling. Most of my work has been focused on restorative storytelling. And you can look at it from a directional standpoint. Think of yourself sinking down into the earth and becoming a part of it. The goal of restorative storytelling is connective, community development, to feel that you are a part of the whole. It is a very, in my experience, satisfying place, and you can offer that as a practice to your family, your community, your workplace, your school. Restorative storytelling is community building, great for conflict resolution, but also great for just building a sense of us, we. Now we're going in the opposite direction here, up into intuitive storytelling, which has to do with your connection to this all that is, higher power, whatever you want to call it, and being able to harvest from that transformative information. So intuitive storytelling has a 7-step process. Restorative storytelling has been divided up into these 7 tools. Now we're into a 7-step process. There's a mini book. I'm in one of these mini books right now for each one of these. I haven't made them all. I've only done red and orange, and I'm about to finish yellow. So we're going to be in here, in this realm of red-orange, the practice today around using storytelling to basically get the resources that we want, which in my experience is qualities of energy. That's our goal for today. And we start in the red, which is what's very much here, what's physically the case. And red, from a chakral standpoint, this is not a chakra practice, but it does use a similar map, is a place of safety and security. So upset our safety and upset our security, we want to bring change. We want to feel more safe, more secure, and then out of that tends to come, I want to feel confident. I want to feel, peaceful. I want to feel serene. I want to motivate others. I want to do all these different things. And in Maslow's hierarchy, we really need to deal with that safety and security pretty early on. So that's where we're going to start with our practice today. And then we're going to go and create, harvest, leverage the kind of energy that we're looking for. So that's the map, and this particular mini book is called The Energy You Need, and that's the workshop that we're doing. And each book is about 20 pages long. It's 99 cents. It's not an investment. It's got a lot of exercises and information. You can get them all on the howtostory.com website. There's all the ones for restorative storytelling, and I'm creating the ones for intuitive now. All right, so let's get to it. Please get a sheet of paper that you can work with. You're going to do an exercise. I'm going to ask questions as prompts. I'm going to do it as well. So I've got my paper. Got a nice long legal size piece of paper, something to write with. I'll give you a prompt. The goal is not to be thorough. It's not even necessarily to be accurate. It's to just put something down, whatever comes to mind. Nobody's going to read this. You're not going to share this. This is responsive. So even if you get the feeling that, that doesn't make any sense, my response, don't worry about it. I just want you to write things down. And then once we get to the end of this sort of fast speed journaling, then we're going to start with a seed for what's going to lead us to the next exercise, which is about accessing the energy. And then I'll condense it into something that you can use a little bit, quicker when you need a certain energy, when you are seeking to feel a certain way, how to get it real quick. So let me just see if there's any questions in the chat, anything that anybody has said. Nothing yet. Okay. At any point, you are welcome to put questions in the chat, and I'll check in there from time to time. If anything's not landing, it's confusing, seems contradictory, I do contradict myself. I too contain multitudes. But I love to respond. I think a lot of connection and understanding and then transfer of information and skill can happen responsibly better than presentationally. So, all right. Number one, and this doesn't, you don't have to organize, you can organize this however you want. The sequence is not that important. What do you know about your birth? Just jot down some things. What do you know about it? And if you don't want to use words and do pictures or doodles, you can do that, but it's to engage in the prompt by responding to it. So respond to that. What do you know about your birth? I'm going to go through this quickly. So don't feel like you have to be thorough and get all the information down. What is an early memory? And when I say memory, I recognize that it's memory. It's not necessarily what happened. It's just what your memory is. So don't interrogate it as true or false. What's one of your earliest memories? If you have feelings that are associated with any of these prompts, you can jot those down as well. Images, sounds, smells, these are all legitimate. And then, of course, feelings. Please describe your body as accurately as you can, without opinion or comparison. Just how would you describe your own body? Okay. What did you eat yesterday? And is this typical? How would you describe last night's sleep? And is that typical? It's okay for me to be going fast and for you to just jot stuff down. Next prompt, which members of your family do you interact with most often? And what's entailed in those interactions? Again, doesn't have to be accurate, just whatever is the first sorts of things that come out. Okay. Please describe your work or occupation, however you want to define that, accurately without opinion or comparison. Just what do you do in your day? Okay, you're doing great. Now on to fun. What do you consider to be a fun activity? Describe it accurately, again, without your opinion or comparison, just what's fun for you, whatever comes to mind. Hmm. Huh. That was surprising. All right. And wherever you are right now, please list 3 persistent complaints or things that upset you, things that keep coming back. What are some, again, no one's reading this, so don't worry about it. And I'm not going to ask you to say any of them. This is just for you. So, what do you find you complain to yourself about or with others about? What are your regular complaints? Um, you don't have to say why, you just list them. And as accurately as you can, give them a name. I complain about X. Person, situation, institution, state of being. What do you complain about? List 3. First things that come to mind, don't really give it too much thought. That's surprising. All right, give you an extra second. Make sure you have 3. Again, don't second guess them. It's just this exercise. You're not missing the boat if you and there's no picking something wrong. It's whatever comes up. I was very surprised by the 3 that went down. All right. You are going to choose one of these for the next exercise. Please pick one that would benefit from this higher power, infinite wisdom, bigger than you, depths of your subconscious, you know, collective unconscious, Akashic record, living memory, whatever you want to call this higher, vast information. Which one of those 3 would benefit most from you accessing the angels, the fairies, universal wisdom, AI, subconscious, and would give you the perfect advice or next right thing in order to either take care of it, change your perception, or whatever it is that's going to make the change? Pick one. Doesn't have to be the biggest one, just has to be the one that is attracting your attention. I am definitely picking that one. Circle it. This is where we're going to start. I'm going to keep going. So you've done nothing wrong. You've done it all correctly. Even if you could only come up with one complaint, that's fine. Circle 1. This is where we're going to start. This complaint, upset, outrage, shortcoming, whatever it is that's got you dysregulated, feeling uneasy carries with it emotions and somatic indicators and feelings, just feelings. It's got an energy to it. So let's do a body scan just physically and get a sense of what's the associated physical sensations when you are considering this complaint. You can jot down descriptors as you go. So, where's your attention going in your body? You can jot that down. What's it feel like? You can jot that down. Yeah, keep going with it. You're going to keep more things will come up. You can expand your awareness into the quality of your energy, and you can even start to describe the energy. Now, it may be different in different parts of your body, but wherever your attention goes, go with that. So if it's in your shoulder and it's a particular tinny electric energy, go with that. If it's in, your sacrum and it just feels like numb, go with that. If it's in your belly and it feels thick, go with that. If it's, in your eyebrows and they feel sort of fuzzy, go with that. Just pick a true what's actually happening with your energy right now. Yeah, I'm going with that and with that. I'm going to add a few more descriptors. Right. Okay. Now, this is how you feel right now. If you're like me, I don't like this feeling. I want to feel differently. So I'm not going to worry about how to get there. I'm just going to pick a different sensation. This is one of the powers of storytelling. It can actually change the way you and your listeners feel. Storytelling is just wired along with emotions and sensations. It's part of the package. So we can actually change it how we feel through storytelling. So what do you want to feel like? Instead of this, what would you like to feel like instead? So if your complaint and upset, outrage, shortcoming was dealt with, and instead of how you're feeling right now, you can feel another way, describe that. Just describe it on paper right now, just conceptually. How do you want to feel? Let's give this an easy identifiable title. So you've given it lots of descriptors. Now see if you can narrow that down and give it a title that you'll remember. And it can be whatever you want. It can be something that's accurate to the feeling, but you can also call it armadillo feeling, or you can call it whatever, top of the skyscraper feeling. But give a name that you'll recognize and know what that is. I'm going to call mine Wolf. I like it. All right. We're going to find that energy now. Recall in your life, and if you can't recall a moment in your life in which you felt this way, for me, it's wolf energy, and I know what that means. Recall a moment in your life where you either felt that way, or you believe someone else felt that way, or you can just imagine what it might be like to feel that way. So you can use your imagination, you can use your memory, you can use your empathy to access a moment where you know what that is. So find a moment. Got mine. And try to recall that moment or deepen that imagination so that you can see things, hear things, smell things, sense, feel things. Immerse yourself in that moment. I'm actually picking somebody else, strangely enough. What I believe this individual felt. So I'm going to put myself into their experience where I saw them, and I'm going to now imagine the room in which this took place, imagine what it sounds like, what I believe this individual felt like, and I'm just going to completely be in it. Go ahead and do yours the same. Okay, as you're imagining it, I'm going to go muted because I'm going to do the same exercise. Say out loud, describe the situation, the memory, the imagination, the empathetically imagining what someone else felt like in something that you witnessed. Talk out loud and describe it. You can do it in story form, and tell it like a story, or you can just give it descriptors, but it's important that you talk out loud. So describe and give, the phantom listener a little tale about this moment in which you or somebody else felt the energy that you seek. I'm going to do it on mute as well. As you tell this story, notice that energy that you seek is beginning to build inside you. Keep talking, and just if you identify a place in your body where it's particularly strong and identifiable, just notice that and keep telling your story. I'll give you one more minute. Doesn't have to be an elegant story, doesn't have to have a clear ending. Just the point is to be able to access that energy, or to try something new and see what happens. But we'll have a chance to share our experience if you want in a moment. Wonderful. All right, I'm going to stop recording, and then we can have more of a discussion. Well, actually, let me before I stop recording, one last thing. You have a name for the energy. Now you have a part of your body where it seems particularly abundant. If you'd like, because some people can access things better with an image rather than a name, or a sensation rather than an image, see if you can identify the part of your body, picture something along with it, or hear something or smell something, and then adjust the title of this energy so that you can call on it, know what it means, and it will arrive, because now you've associated a full story experience with it. And for me, I mean, it takes some practice, but it may work right out of the gate for you. You can access that energy when you call on that image. You might want to story it into being again. Remember that moment and story it, speak out loud, describe it again so that you can feel it. But you're not feeling the way you want to. You pause, you realize exactly how you want to feel. You've got a name for it or an associated image or a part of your body that you can just flag, trigger, and it will arrive. It will flow to you, the feeling that you seek. So this part is step 2 in the full intuitive storytelling experience, and it may be plenty for some of you. That may be all you need. There are times when that's all I need. I just want to change my energy. So that's the exercise. I'm going to stop recording, and then I would love to hear. I'll describe to you what my experience was, and then if anybody else would like to describe theirs, they are welcome. And you can also ask questions.